All right, what's going on, everyone? This is your leadership coach, Quincy Jackson, here. And as always, I am thrilled and excited to bring you information to help you become a better leader. Every single episode where we bring you information that will help you if you choose to embrace it and go forward and take action accordingly. So I'm really excited about this episode and as all episodes because it is my responsibility, I believe, and my mission in life is to bring more clarity and understanding to the idea and subject of leadership, especially if you're somebody that maybe you struggle with the idea of being a leader, as I did when I was a young kid growing up. So if I would have had someone like me when I was in high school, hopefully even early, like in middle school, and most certainly in college to understand these ideas that I talk about here on this podcast, then I think I would have had better results and been a more effective person, especially with the friends and associates that I had around me growing up on an everyday basis. So if you are new to the channel, we want to say thank you for tuning in. If you like what you hear here, I encourage you to take some notes, apply it, come back, and also leave some comments below on what stood out to you in this particular episode. I'm a person that I avidly research ideas on how to be a better effective communicator and leader in everyday situations, but especially at work and the people that I work with. I know that if I can be more effective in my communication, it just will help me demonstrate my ability to lead that much more frequently and that much more effectively. So every single day I research what's happening now, what's going on in current trends, and it's my objective with this channel and with this podcast to bring you that information, and hopefully it gives you the opportunity to step forward and making those adjustments and changes in your life as well. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about an article that's from Forbes magazine by a senior contributor, and the title of it is How Sam Altman's Communication Skills Catalyzed His Reinstatement. Now, if you don't know who this person is, don't worry. I hadn't heard of him before today's episode, or actually before I did the research, and I was studying this article for about a week or so, I believe, before I actually decided to kind of go through it and kind of break it down and then bring you some information in the episode, this episode right here. So this article, I think, was published about November of last year, and it just goes over some of his background and then what he actually has done to reinstate himself as a CEO in his company. So Sam Altman's sudden dismissal from OpenAI in November 2023 and his quick reinstatement is a compelling narrative of the force of communication in leadership and corporate strategy. Altman's reascension to leadership was a direct result of his masterful communication abilities. So that's a hint right there. If you want to excel quickly in whatever it is that you're doing and whoever it is that you're leading, especially if it's in corporate America or in sports, nonprofit, or anything in that matter, masterful communication will help you get there that much quicker. But by effectively marshaling his team, engaging in strategic discussions with Microsoft, and transparently addressing the concerns of the public, he showcased the indomitable power of dialogue and discourse. Now, Altman's knack for connecting with employees and stakeholders on a profound level, exhibiting empathy and insight, was pivotal in mending fences and cementing his role as CEO once again. In this episode, we're going to underscore the formidable influence of adept communication for all leaders, and I'm talking about you, illustrating that adept articulation and engagement can deftly steer through crises and reinstate one's standing amidst challenges. So the pivotal axis of leadership efficacy revolves around superior communication skills. It's a profound truth that the rise or fall of your team, and by extension your business, is deeply rooted in the essential capability. Studies published by the Economist Intelligence Unit have laid bare and dire consequences of communication breakdowns, such as eroding team spirit, unachieved targets, and vanishing revenues. Further investigations reveal the astonishing economic cost. Ineffective communication can bleed large companies of $64.2 million annually. And that's according to surveys published by the Society of Human Resource Management, while smaller firms could see $420,000 in losses. In short, companies suffer millions in losses due to communication inefficiencies. All right. So next. So if you want to not have yourself be in the same predicament going forward, what you want to do is become a better communicator. And one of the easiest ways I think you can do that is start to read content versus just listening to content. Is that going to help you as well in your ability to deliver information more effectively? Okay, so more on that in a little bit. Now, the significance of communication stretches beyond monetary implications. Leaders employ communication to rally their teams, foster a sense of unity, empowering their workforce, nurturing trust, and adeptly guiding through the flux of organizational transformation. Leaders are the vanguards of transformative progress, rallying the collective will towards unified goals. At the heart of this mobilization is effective communication. Avoiding communication can lead to misinterpretation of vital information, weakening of relationships, and obstacles to advancement. So, for those who are determined to enhance their leadership acumen, honing these communicative skills becomes essential. So, what are some of those communication skills that you need to hone in on? Well, the first one is adaptive communication. Effective leadership is not a one-size-fits-all endeavor. So, if anybody ever tells you that it is, then they obviously haven't had enough experience dealing with people outside of whatever their little area that they've been dealing with is. Okay. Particularly when it comes to communication. Research has demonstrated the pitfalls of incompatible communication styles, noting how they can spawn confusion and heighten stress within an organization. Adaptive communication is the art of recognizing and bridging these stylistic divides. It requires a leader to be perceptive of their own communication approach and to adeptly adjust their style to resonate with each member of their team. This dynamic skill involves gauging the individual needs, expectations, and preferred levels of autonomy among team members. Now, by doing so, leaders can foster an environment where every voice can be heard and understood, ensuring a harmonious, and effective team dynamic. So I thought about this a little while ago, and I'm actually going to get into coaching baseball here in the next few months as we get closer to the spring. So if you're watching this is actually February of 2024. But one of the biggest things I think a lot of team leaders don't do early on is they don't actually ask the team what it is that they want to accomplish before they set out to actually start on the journey. Now, somebody might be saying, well, everybody wants to win. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. If you look at professionals and take your sport, it doesn't really matter, but let's just take NFL, for example. At the beginning of the year, we know without any question that there's only going to be one Super Bowl winner. And this is an even crazier thing. I would say 50% of the teams know that they're not even going to make the playoffs at the start of the season. And truth be told, 32 teams, not even 16 make it. I think only 12 even make it into the playoffs anyway. So what does that mean? Well, if the team thought that they were going to make it to the playoffs, if the team thought they were going to win the Super Bowl, wouldn't they actually win more games throughout the year? And the question would probably be yes. But as a underlying culture there that says that probably the majority of the team doesn't really believe that they will win, can win, nor do they probably even desire to win. So I believe that as a coach, especially if you're a team leader, the first thing you want to do is ask the team, hey guys, what is it that we want to accomplish this year? At the end of the year, if we play 8 games, 12 games, 10 games, what is it that we want to say we have accomplished this year? Now, some of you might say, well, I want to have fun. I just want to enjoy. I want to get paid, depending on if you're a professional or not. All those different answers, right? But if the consensus of the team is not to win, especially everybody, then you're probably not going to win. So, like, I can have a goal as a coach to have a above 500 winning record this season as a baseball coach. But if the team doesn't want to actually win, and they don't want to win 5 out of the 10 games or 6 out of the 10 games, then it doesn't matter that I want it if they don't want it for themselves, because they're going to be the ones that are doing the playing. So I think that having harmony among the team and what it is that you teach and what it is that you're going after is essential, because the less confusion there is when it comes to what we're going after, the more clarity we'll have in what we need to do on a weekly, daily basis in order to make that goal come to fruition and be achieved. Okay, so that's just some insight, kind of how I'm working in this area of leadership, and hopefully that made some sense to you. And if you are currently maybe coaching yourself, especially if you're coaching others, maybe it's time to kind of get back to some basic understanding of what is it that we're going after, so that we know why we're doing what we're doing, and we just aren't showing up just to show up. Okay, that's fine if that's what your goal is. Don't get me wrong, but if that's not the goal, and if that's not the expectation, then we have to have alignment in the direction that we're headed. Okay, we'll come back to that in a little bit later, but I just wanted to drop that on you for a second. Let's go to the next one. Active listening. Active listening stands at the core of impactful leadership, and I have multiple videos on this channel about listening as one of the key skills that all leaders must possess. So if you haven't watched any of those videos, I would encourage you to go check them out and actually understand at a deeper level how you can be a more effective listener, not only to your team, but also how you can teach your team to be more effective listeners as well. So it goes beyond passive hearing. It is about engaging fully with the speaker and understanding their message and responding thoughtfully. A leader must create a space where team members feel encouraged to express their thoughts and ideas. This means not only inviting input, but also demonstrating genuine interest and participation in the conversation. Active listening involves acknowledging the speaker, giving feedback, and asking follow-up questions that promote deeper understanding, aka critical thinking. This level of engagement shows respect for the team members' contributions and lays the groundwork for mutual trust and more collaborative relationships. All right, so what does active listening look like? Well, first and foremost, I believe that it starts with asking a question and then waiting on the response, and then rephrasing or even repeating back what you heard to the person that you're listening to make sure you heard them accurately. And then if you need more context on what's been said, you ask them to clarify, or can you explain furthermore what you mean about that? So I think that it's easy whenever you're in a leadership position to just tell people what to do and tell people how to do it and tell people why to do it. But when you can actually take a step back, or maybe 3 steps back, and get the person to tell you as a coach why they're doing what they're doing, how they think they should be doing it, and especially if they don't really understand what it is that they should be doing, if you've given them direction, then there's a disconnect in communication somewhere, or at least maybe even comprehension. So as you practice this idea of active listening, remember to ask questions, give your full and undivided attention, and then to clarify or maybe make sure you got full understanding of what's been said, ask follow-up questions that give you deeper understanding of the conversation and the person that's doing the conversing. Okay, that's a huge key there. So let me know in the comments if you're liking it. If you do, drop a like. I really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm, and we want to make sure we're getting our content out to as many people as possible. Not only do we want to help everybody as we can, We want to make sure we're delivering excellent value to you as well. So if you like what you're listening to, just make sure you smash the like button and also share it with somebody that you think may benefit from it as well. All right, let's go on to the next one. We got transparency. Now, in today's complex organizational structures, transparency is not just appreciated, but expected. In fact, the above mentioned research by SHRM, so that's the Society of Human Resource Management. If you've never heard of that, you see here in that context as well. They go by SHRM. Showed that a third of senior managers, executives, and employees said they hardly ever know what's going on in their organizations. When employees are left in the dark about the company's direction and decisions, it breeds uncertainty and distrust. Transparency in leadership means sharing key information about a company's goals, challenges, and the rationale behind decisions. This open communication is crucial for building trust and aligning the team with the organization's vision. When leaders are transparent, they create an environment where employees feel secure and contribute ideas and engage in candid conversations, knowing that their input is valued and considered in the decision-making process. So I guess the question I would have for you that's listening is, how transparent have you been with your team about what it is that you're doing and how it is that you're working to help them and move the organization forward? Okay. Now, you don't need to do a lot of things without them knowing, especially if they are asking you to be transparent and forthcoming with all that they're doing, right? You can have surprises and, things that actually are working toward bringing the team together. But when bad things are happening or not so good things are happening, you should let them know, especially if it's going to create a change, and hopefully that change is for the better. If it's for a negative, not a so positive change, then you definitely want to tell them what's going on, because people are already resistant enough to change, but they're going to be more resistant when they don't think that it's for the positive or when they know it's not for the positive. Okay, so check your transparency meter at the door. And if you need to be more effective with this, or you feel like there's some things that you can't be transparent with because your team, for one reason or another, are not able to receive this information as they should, then let me know, and I'll actually work one-on-one with you and show you how you can actually get past that, and you can develop yourself, because ultimately you're going to develop your team in the process of being more transparent. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have clarity. Okay, clarity and communication eliminates confusion and enables employees to focus on their objectives with a clear understanding of their roles and responsibilities. So that's a huge one there. Clarity and communication. It is the leader's responsibility to articulate their goals and expectations of tasks or projects with precision. When messages are clear, there is no room for interpretation that could deviate efforts from the intended path. I like that word precision. It reminds me of when I used to play Madden in college back in like 2007, 2008. There was a feature that they implemented with quarterbacks. It was called precision passing, where the more accurate you were with your passing, the bigger your vision of the field would be. And so now when I think about leadership, I think about that when it comes to clarity and precision, because if I can articulate my message to a wide range of people clearly, it just means my message is going to be more accurate whenever it gets received by the people that are hearing it. And I've been working on it for a while, so I know it's better than it used to be, but I'm always working to be better and improve in how I communicate, so that I can be always moving in the direction of being able to deliver a higher value message to anyone that's listening to me. All right. And so that's just what I've done. Now, if employees seem to be misaligned with the organizational goals, here, listen to this one now, it is often a sign that further clarification is needed. Clarity is not just about being understood, it's about ensuring that everyone is moving in the same direction with a shared vision of what success looks like. So that's why I started off the beginning of this episode saying you should ask your team where it is that they want to go more so than where you would like to take them. Okay. If I want to go to Washington, D.C., and I'm not saying that I do or don't, but I'm just using this for example. But if everybody on my team wants to go to, I don't know, Sacramento, California, that's two different directions. So why would we try to go there unless I think something is better in Washington, D.C. than they believe? But maybe we need to go to Washington, D.C. and go to Sacramento or whatever the case may be in whatever analogy you want to use. Okay, but that's how you can tell if you're being clear or not is your team's organizational goals misaligned with where you want to take them and where you think they should be going? And if it is, figure out how to get that alignment back on page so that way you can actually go forward in the same direction. Okay. Next, we have inquisitive engagement. So leaders who master inquisitive engagement employ open-minded questions to explore and understand the thoughts, motivations, and aspirations of their team members. This approach facilitates a deeper conversation that can lead to innovative ideas and solutions. By asking questions like, what is your perspective on, so what is, you can put in fill in the blank there, or how do you believe we can achieve blank? You can fill in the blank there. Leaders invite thoughtful responses and signal that they value the team's input. I love that. And it's something about showing that to your team that lets them be open to receiving whatever it is that you have to give to them. All right. If you don't show them that you are willing to listen, then in turn, they're not going to want to listen to you. Now, I know in not all situations is this going to be the case. Like in many cases, that's not the way it is from parent to child. In many cases, if you're a small company where the boss is also the owner, it's usually not going to be that way if it's the boss, the owner, especially if they're a low-level position or leader. But I've always agreed with this idea that if you demonstrate your ability to listen to them and in willingness, then in almost every case it's reciprocated because you've first took the initiative to do that instead of expecting it to always be one way and meaning them to you. Okay. Next, this technique not only aids in gathering valuable insights, but also empowers employees to take ownership of their work and contributes to a more engaging and inclusive workplace culture. All right. And then the next we have is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. And in the realm of leadership, it is indispensable. An empathetic leader can forge deep connection with their team by recognizing their emotions and perceptions. This connection is essential for a supportive work environment where employees feel that their personal experiences and professional challenges are acknowledged and respected. Empathy in leadership means being approachable and available to discuss issues, celebrating successes, and showing genuine concern for team members' well-being. It is this empathetic approach that can transform a workplace into a supportive community, enhancing employee satisfaction and retention. Okay, so I know empathy is usually not the best thing people want to work on. A lot of people, when I was getting started in sales, they actually said that empathy was the better way to go when it comes to working with people and leading them in the sales process. And sympathy was the thing that usually held people back from actually helping people and making sales going forward into the future. A lot of times people can see empathy as a form of weakness if you have to communicate your ability to understand and relate to what someone's going through. But as we see here, that's not it at all. It actually means being approachable and available to discuss the issues that may be dealing with, celebrating the successes, and showing genuine concern for the team members' well-being. So How well are you doing that when somebody brings you a problem? How well are you empathizing with them to maybe get the best understanding of how they're feeling and what they're going through so that you can help them move forward and move past whatever it is that they feel is holding them back and challenging them. Okay. Now that's a big step for most leaders because they don't really think that through. And then I would say for you, better you can build this skill and the sooner you can build it, the more likely you help your team move forward and have the success and progress that you desire for them to have, and also for you to desire to have as a leader and as a coach. All right. Next, we have feedback utilization. So we talked about this a little while ago. We're going to dive a little deeper into it now. But feedback is a critical component of a leader's growth and the continuous improvement of the team. Encouraging feedback demonstrates a leader's commitment to self-improvement and the development of the team. It's not enough to simply receive feedback. A leader must also show that they are responsive to it by making tangible changes where necessary. This may involve setting action plans, adjusting strategies, or changing behaviors in response to the feedback received. When leaders act on feedback, they not only improve their own performance, but also strengthen the trust of their team, showing that they are committed to collective success and value the input of every team member. All right, and that's the last one right there. So, feedback utilization. So, there's a lot of different links in there, and as always, we're going to leave you the link to this particular article in the description so that you can download it for yourself and actually read it, go through it. Maybe reading it sometimes is a lot better. It gives you more clarity than just listening to the words that are spoken. But I hope that in this episode you got a lot of good insight about what you can do going forward as a leader and how you can help your team. These skills, they're not the easiest to build. So I would encourage you to start with one and then ask yourself questions daily, like how can I listen more effectively, or how can I be a better active listener today? If you come across somebody, and most likely every day you do, they're dealing with a challenge or problem, how can I empathize with this person better so that I can show them that I am trying to be understanding of what they're going through, and then also celebrate their successes and remind them of some successes that they've had whenever they get going through difficult and challenging situations. So this article, I think for me, gave me a lot more kind of a reminder of what it is that I should be doing and how it is that I can be more effective going into the future. And I hope that it did the same thing for you. So if you like the video or you like this particular audio, definitely want you to like it as well. If you like what you're listening to and what you're getting, we ask that you subscribe so that you can get more future content just like this. And as well, if you know anybody that could benefit from this and would like to listen to it as well, get some insights in how they can be a better and more effective leader, share it with them. Have a conversation about it, and maybe even hold each other accountable to doing certain things and checking in every once in a while so that you can make forward progress in your leadership for yourself and for your team. So this is your leadership coach, Quincy Jackson, signing out. Depending on when you're watching this video, if you check the description, we also have a special giveaway for you. You can check the description area for that below. It's the 6 biggest mistakes that most leaders make. I made it just for you, so you can just go ahead and grab that, download it at your convenience. And it's some of the things that I learned that helped me earn my first promotion in corporate America in about 4 months. And had I known this 2 years in advance, I think I could have actually got my promotion a lot sooner than that. But hey, better late than never. And so if you feel like you're maybe behind or maybe a little late to the party, this is me offering you an olive branch to say there's no need to fret. Just continue to step in the direction that you desire, and you will be there sooner than you think. All right. So until next time, this is your leadership coach, Quincy Jackson, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a great rest of your day.